Okay, it aired Sunday night. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Yes, the season finale of My Adventures with Superman. What do you think I was talking about? I love this freaking show. I love this freaking show so much. I love it so much. I am not even remotely perturbed by deviations from canon. In fact, I'm loving the way they play with lore. It is so amazing. We're going to do some massive spoilers, but this entire fourth season has basically been Terminator. Clark and Lois's children come back from the future where something has taken over and they are here to change it, to save it. The first one we meet, Jonathan Kent, comes back and he's a relatively happy kid. It's like we see he's sent back in time by Luthor. And the reason he's back is because Hank Henshaw, Cyborg Superman, broke Luthor's control and then killed everybody, took over the world. And at first I thought this was going to be, the clone Superboy. But there's actually a clue in the opening credits because you see him in front of Clark and Lois in the cornfield. He kind of vanishes. He's about to go into a portal and he vanishes. I'm like, oh, so they kind of gave the game away in that. I just didn't notice. And I was wondering, would they be hardcore enough to have him just disappear like that once they succeeded in saving the future, which of course they do. So of course, Superman faces down with Hank Henshaw, who's gone nuts. And it takes him, Superboy, and Kara to beat him. But once he beats him, the Cyborg Superman just is like, he is so dismayed by the fact that he's not the hero Superman is. He just basically kind of self-terminates. But in this, Superman loses his powers, and they play with his powers in this, how they are generated and how they look. There were moments of like a blue electrical crackle, which I assume is, what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? God damn it. I hate when I have a degree in English. Why do I keep forgetting words? Foreshadowing. I assume it's foreshadowing about him possibly becoming the electric blue Superman, which is great. I'm fine with that. But in fighting Hank Henshaw, he kind of overloaded himself and blew out all his powers. He doesn't have them for like the next 2 episodes. He's really dismayed by this. So after they stop Hank Henshaw and Superboy goes back to the future, when he arrives, he's a different Superboy now because they changed time. Luthor wasn't stopped. He's the dominant bad guy. And Jonathan's insignia has changed to have the black instead of the gold, which it was before. And so we're going to be doing this again. And of course we'll do it again. But the next time, they've changed it so now it's Jonathan and his sister Lara who've come back. And in this one, Lex Luthor had created he combined Superman's DNA, he put a piece of his brain in it, literally, and created, he calls it the Eradicator. And they're basically back to kill Luthor because of this, serious Terminator. But in a paradox, they cause Luthor to release the Eradicator prematurely. And so the Eradicator gets smarter, realizes thoughts, beats the crap out of them, by the way. Them and Supergirl. And gets their time travel device, goes into the time stream. So this is when Superman realizes, okay, I gotta get my powers back. And Miss Piddalik. Gotta talk about Miss Piddalik. It's amazing how heavy a phone can get. Anyway, like I said, Clark doesn't have his powers for like 2 episodes. And come on, bring that down. Doesn't have his episodes for a few episodes. And one of these, Miss Piddalik has kidnapped him and Kara and Lois and Jimmy for these like games he's playing with his wife. They're getting divorced and they're like having this contest to see who gets the house. Okay, so they're going through all of this, and they are dealing with, and they are up against a Lois, a Jimmy, a Kara, and a Luthor from another dimension. And they just casually drop. Yeah, everything kind of went bad after the Hunger Dogs showed up. Hunger Dogs, Darkseid foreshadowing. This show is kind of like Claremont at its best, where just little lines of dialogue are laying the foundations for other stories. And there is like always 1 or 2 every episode. In Claremont, it was like actually more like 5 or 6 every issue, but he was always just kind of like casually laying down plot threads. And this, and that's what they laid out. But this has the wonderful bit where they say things went bad when we lost Clark. And at one point, he corrects me, "No, you mean we lost Superman?" No, he'd already lost his powers, but it's when we lost Clark that things went bad. My heart! Yes! Yes! It's not the powers, baby. It's the man. Love that. Also, another little thread is there's like a trophy at the end of it. You see it's like a guy in backwards in pain holding onto like a thread, kind of looks like lightning. You know, if he's hanging onto a golden thread or being struck by lightning. And at one point, Lois asks who he is. At the end, Lois says, "You didn't ask me, who is that guy?" And Liz Piddly just pauses and go, "A sore loser." You know that's going to come back. Who that guy is and what that's about. And I love this about the show. I love it. And where was it? Okay, so we're back to the Eradicator having beaten all of them already and taken off into the time stream, and Clark's like, "I got to get my powers now." So he goes off to the fortress, and he's got that clone that got loose that's been showing up in every episode. He finally found a Superman costume, and he's like showing up. He sees them as friends, as family, and he has this guy take him to the fortress. Unfortunately, they don't show that bonding on screen, but they do. Take him to the fortress, where he's forced to go back into where you find out that the robots running it are all Brainiacs, and they're like, "No, we're not the corrupted version. We're the original version." And we find out that they were Coluans who crashed landed on Krypton, and the Kryptonians just like conquered them and enslaved them and put them in like these bodies, stole their tech. Again, normally I'd be aghast because, you know, my thing is the worse you make Krypton, the better it is that it blew up, and you're kind of diminishing the tragedy of Superman. It should have been a place he missed. But the way this differs from what James Gunn did was like, this is thousands of years in the past. Jor-El is not a bad person now. He's a good person, but this is thousands of years in the past, nothing could be done. Fine. That's how you do it. Okay? That's how it's done. But yeah, the fact they did that is amazing. It's just, oh my God. So anyway, he survived. It's like the Brainiacs want to make him relive this and be a conqueror like they were, but he refuses. And his kindness is his strength. And they finally realize this, and that's what makes it great. But he says, "I need to get my powers back. And if it wasn't you who was sending me these visions of Ra, who was it?" They're like, "Oh, it was Ra." Well, not Ra. Ra was the living sun god. He's dead. He had many children, and there's one powering the fortress. There is a sentient sun, a child of Ra, powering the fortress. Back where the Eradicator has returned, it's highly evolved now, and it's just like beating the crap out of them. They can't stop it. It's just, none of them can stand together. Like some characters from the past show up with powers that they've met, and also John Henry Irons shows up with the steel armor. None of it helps. He just beats the crap out of them, and like Waller retreats, and just the super family's there, and they're about to die, but boom, you know who comes back, right? So again, a big fight, but even then, it still seems like it's not enough. And at one point, it's like Superman's like it's down in front of the Eradicator, and it seems like he's won, and he just points out, "No, what you care about is stupid. What I care about, what everyone on this planet cares about, is like the person next to them, the people they love, blah blah blah. You care about this, and that's stupid." Then he beats the crap out of him, and he wins and he says, "Yeah, it's like it's like you live out of fear. That's no way to live." And again, he offers a hand to him, and the Eradicator is like, "You know what? I'd rather die." And again, he just kind of like self-deprecates, same way as Hank Henshaw. So it's all over now, and the twins are going back into the future, presumably, which is now good, a better future. It's because there was no like tag at the end. So I'm hoping it's a happy ending. If they come back, they'll come back happy. But Lois is like, "How'd you get your powers back?" And it's like, it must have been something. And then he's like, "Well, yeah, that's kind of a price, but I was willing to pay." And you got a flashback to see him burning inside the sun. So that's another subplot. What he had to pay, the price he had to pay to get his powers back with Ra, the living sun child, the living sun child of Ra. And then Waller throws Luthor in prison. And I was like, "Why'd you go crazy like this?" He's like, "What I've seen would have like made you act this way too." So that's another plot thread. But oh, I love this show. I love this show so much. It's so good. Again, it's so good. I don't care about them playing with the lore. They do a lot of stuff. There's a running plot line of Jimmy dating through an app, and he keeps dating this crazy scientist who's transforming. And once he's like got elastic body parts, and another point he turns into a turtle. He actually seduces someone as a turtle because Jimmy's got that vibe. So again, throwback. So he was a Turtle Boy and Elastalad. So great, so amazing. So maybe we'll talk about the other thing another time.